a moment. There's got 20 people online at the moment. Yeah, so let's. I think we should get started. Let me share a screen with you guys so that you can. Hold on a second. This is going to be a problem. To set this thing so that people. Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to carry on. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Andre. You can proceed.
Okay, good. I'm going to share my screen with you now, and then I'll start talking to you about a few things.
Andre, sorry, if you could just wait one minute. I'm just, some people are battling. I'm just resending out the link again, if you don't mind. Just give me 1 second. If we could, with your indulgence, everybody, if we could just wait 1 minute. We just have a number of people that are battling. Sorry, Andre, if you could just give us.
Please, can everyone mute their microphones?
Sorry, we've just got, I'm getting loads of messages. If we could just give it 1 minute.
I see we got quite a few new people on board today compared to previous Techie Talks, and that's probably in no small measure due to the Centec set-top box project that we're also dealing with. That's catapulted us into a bit of forensic. Yeah, so we'll give you some good news tonight as to where we're at with air fiber and with some of the other projects. But good to see all of you. 36 people in the meeting. I'm not quite sure what went wrong with the meeting link, but anyway, we seem to be found everyone now. What we wouldn't do with without the internet, eh? Sure. Guys, if you want to, maybe it'd be easier for certain guys with bandwidth issues, keep your cameras off for now. If you want to say something, you're welcome to put your camera and your mic on.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Andre. I've quickly dashed out a new message to everyone, so I'll just pouring it.
Okay, let's start. We can cover a few things and go
awesome.
Back. Start the introductions.
Awesome. I wonder, Andre, before you kick off, I wonder if I could just very quickly introduce you. Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. It's January 2022. I think we've all gone through a chaotic 2020 and 2021. COVID and riots and load shedding and water shedding certainly affected us. And there's two things we want to address today. One is for Andre to give us our first Techie team talk, which we have once a month on a Tuesday evening, and we update you on what's happening and we bring in guest speakers. And secondly, we have a lot of new people, as Andre said, that have joined us over the last week or so, and Andre will give you a better understanding why we've got a whole lot of new members that have joined us. But a very, very warm welcome to everybody. It feels like a long December where we weren't chatting one-on-one with you. And it's great to have you all on board. I hope you all had a fabulous Christmas and an awesome New Year. And Andre, to the very first Techie Team Talk of 2022. It's really great to have you, and handing over to you now.
Thank you, Sharon, and welcome, team. Welcome to 2022. We've had a couple of tough years, but things are looking much better this year. I'm pretty sure this pandemic is winding its way out. We never know what the next wave is going to be like, but it seems to be getting weaker each time. So good. We, from our side, I've had a very busy day. Janine and I have been in the warehouse moving equipment. It's just arrived. We've just had a tranche of 100 units supplied to us by Supersonic. That should be gone within 2 weeks or less. So things are moving now. We'll tell you all about it. It's been quite hectic in a number of fronts. I am at the same time talking to customers, bringing on new projects. People are starting to hear a little bit about what MyTechie is about. And we've got some other exciting news we'll tell you about during the course of the evening. So welcome, everyone. Thank you, Sharon. Everyone could keep their mic on mute, then we can avoid the noise. I'm not too sure who's got them.
Sorry, Andre, just to interrupt. Guys, please can you mute whilst we have somebody talking? When we ask for questions, you raise your hand and we'll take the questions as they come. Sorry about that, Andre. Over to you.
Can everybody see my screen that I'm sharing?
We can. Thank you.
Okay, then I'm going to go through this presentation now. Just to quickly, this is what we onboarded about 200 technicians this last 2 weeks for work in Gauteng, and I just need to take you all through it and give you an idea of what's happening, because there's been some slight changes to the commercials and few other things. So what is important for you to understand now with Supersonic and with Air Fiber is that we now have an actual contract. It's called a Master Services Agreement. It's a picture of it on the left there. That Master Services Agreement is quite onerous. It's 55 pages, 43 clauses, and 5 schedules. And it is a contract between Supersonic and our partner Nifracom. The reason why MyTechie hasn't signed the contract ourselves is because the Master Services Agreement is written in such a way that you have to be a contractor yourself to be able to sign it. In other words, you have to have employees, you have to have risk insurances, you have to have a whole lot of things, which MyTechie is not. MyTechie is an agency. We represent a lot of subcontractors, and we bring a lot of work through to many subcontractors. So what we did was we have a relationship, partnership, if you like, with Nifracom, and we have a back-to-back agreement with them. And we handed over the project that we had with Supersonic to Nifracom, and Nifracom then has a back-to-back agreement with us to use MyTechie exclusively for all the work that Supersonic will give through to Nifracom, which will be quite significant. And one of the interesting things about this relationship is the MyTechie app is built on an application or a platform called Centricity, and that's the same platform that Supersonic use for tasking work. So it's made it very easy for Supersonic to give work through to MyTechie. And what everyone needs to understand that is working through MyTechie to take on the Supersonic Air Fiber work is that you all are subcontractors to Nifracom, and you will agree to that contract back to back. And I did take the guys through it this week, and I'll do it again briefly tonight. The implication for us was that individuals who do not have companies can't work directly for Supersonic, but we have got a way to bring individuals in who have got skills and certain components, but don't have a company. They don't have a letter of good standing from the Labour Department. They don't have certain risk insurances. We've got a way for you to still participate, and I'll share that with you as well. But essentially, we can only use subcontractors here, but we have crafted a way to bring individuals in, and we are using them, and I'll show you how it went. Some of our best technicians actually are working for small companies in townships like Mamelodi, Soweto, Alex, and other places. So what I've done is this contract and all the documentation associated with it is on a Google Drive. And those of you that have been onboarded have got access to that Google Drive. If you don't have access to that Google Drive, just request it. We can give you access to it. On that Google Drive, you will find the tools list that you're required to have. There's the quality checklist that they want everyone to go through. There's an instruction manual on how to install Tirana equipment. There's a standard operating procedure for field maintenance, which, by the way, we wrote and gave to Supersonic. There's an installation video tutorial. You can watch a Tirana video on how to install the equipment. And then there's the user manual. And there's also a list of all the base stations that have been lit with Tirana equipment. There's also a KML file there of all those base stations. So one of the important tools you all need to have on your laptop is a Google Earth. And then you can load that and you can see where the base stations are and you can see where you are relative to the base station. And you can get your community around you to order it so that they you can do the installations. And if there isn't a base station in your area, that's a good opportunity for you to punt the product so that they will light up that tower, that base station with Tirana equipment. I think the last time I remember reading this is Supersonic said that if 200 people put their hand up for Supersonic services, they will equip the base station with Tirana equipment. It's fixed wireless equipment, and then you'll get the orders. These are some of the PPE requirements that you are required to have that MTN will check on, and us to a certain extent. Some people have got all of this, some people don't have it. We'll have a process of checking on it and helping you to comply with this. We also have a process of within MyTechie of yellow cards and red cards. So it's a bit like soccer. If you're not compliant with a certain issue, we'll ask you to fix it. You might get a yellow card if you constantly don't have that thing. Worst case, you get a red card and we have to take you off the system. We've had to do that a couple of times for very serious things. There are a number of requirements that MyTechie puts you through to onboard, and it's a bit more than that. There's like 23 now. Somebody's phone is just terminated.
Sorry, someone's phone is ringing. Please, can you all mute? Thank you.
Sure who that is. Okay, let's carry on. So we do go through a rigorous process of onboarding. There's FICA, there's KYC, there's background checks, qualification checks, terms and conditions. You understand there's a lot of things. And that's what there is, that once-off onboarding fee that we do charge you, but you don't have to pay that until you're starting to get work from us. So we're not going to take any money from you until work is flowing. And it's 500 Rand once off that covers our administration of all of this once-off onboarding effort. But we're doing that anyway to get you onboarded. We want to get you out there and working so that you can be productive. The main thing that you need to read when you get a chance is the MyTechie terms and conditions. It's on our website, download it. I didn't want to have a whole 56-page contract document with each of the technician teams. You know, we are techies. We don't really want to be bothered with all that. Essentially, all that is saying is that you are an independent contractor. You are only responsible to do the work that you take and you agree to take. And if you don't take it, that's fine. You don't have to take it. And that the costs of the platform are the 500 Rand once-off onboarding fee. There's a 100 Rand a month fee to have the app, which we pay to the software service provider. And then there's the administration fee of 15% that we take on your services. The rest, 85% of the money, is yours. And we will go through that in more detail with you. Training is provided in many cases for free. So in the case of Tirana, they've stopped doing formal training and they're allowing us to do on-the-job training. So we've got some very experienced technicians like Clements and Eni and Silas and Chucky and others that can assist you on the job. And that's the best way to learn, in my view. Reading an instruction manual is one thing, and you do need to read that instruction manual. Then you go and follow them, do a couple of jobs with them, and then you can be certified. There'll be a little test, and then you're good to go. It's not difficult stuff. Okay. What's on the table with the air fiber is, this is the forecast that MTN given us. It's a forecast of 174,000 installations over the next 4 years. They were supposed to start last year, but as you know, there was a worldwide semiconductor shortage, and they couldn't get equipment for the last few months. But now they've started getting equipment. It's coming in now. So this year we're hoping to do 23,000 installs, and that's nationally, 38 next year. And this represents 40% of what they're capable of doing with the base stations that will be behind this. This is a 40% coverage take up. So potentially there's quite a lot more. How much do we get as a partnership between NIFRACOM and MyTechie is up to us. There are other companies that are eating this lunch. We know of 2 others, PPI and Motivity, and there might be others. But you know, they will provide the work, and only those that are efficient and can get through it quickly will eat it. So it's up to us as a team. These are some of the key things that are in that MSA which you need to be aware of. So for example, all the subcontractors are required to be available from 8 to 5, Monday to Sunday.
Sorry, guys, please can you mute? If you come onto the meeting, please be muted. Thank you. Sorry, Andre.
I think I'm just going to mute all. You can unmute yourself, Sharon. Okay, can you still all hear me?
We can still, yeah, we can hear you. You fine.
I've muted everyone. And,
yeah, I think, Andre, as you finish each section, we'll just pause for Q&A.
Yeah, okay. So this is the start of the MSA. You guys can read it. It's on the Google Drive. And I just want to point out a few things to you. So we can take work Monday to Sunday. That means weekends as well. And we are doing work on weekends. And the nice thing about that is quite often customers are more available to have an installation done on weekends because they are at home. And you don't have to work on a Monday or a Thursday. You can decide. The term subcontractor, that refers to you. It doesn't refer to MyTechie. MyTechie is an agency. You are the subcontractor to NIFRACOM. And there are penalties. They are invoking penalties on service delivery that doesn't meet certain SLAs, and I will take you through that. Just be aware of that. One of the key ones is how many days it takes you to do an installation. Now, the first few that we've had have been problematic. We've missed quite a few SLAs, but we're hoping to find an excuse to get out of that, but that's just what we're trying to do. They have the right Supersonic, and this, unfortunately, this agreement, as many of you will know, is written in a very one-sided way. Supersonic have made it totally in their favor, but you know, we will fight the fight for you. We are in your court. We're representing you, and we'll try to make sure everything is done fairly. But they do have the right in their sole discretion to deduct a penalty from the fee if certain conditions are not met. And you need to read this thing and see and understand, like 1% per day. If you miss an SLA, they could take it off. The idea here is that we get it right, and we get it right first time. Any rework is at our own cost, at your cost essentially. So learn quickly, read that manual. It's not a very difficult manual to read, understand it, and go through it very quickly. Those of us that have, or those techies that have done this, will guide you and show you what to do. The app is very specific about what photographs it wants taken before and after. Safety and security and health and safety is not negotiable with Supersonic. They have a number of requirements that you have to go through, and we'll check that as well. All services that are rendered or equipment, plant, materials being used to render the services are in accordance with the provisions of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So that is one of the reasons why we had to come under the banner of a NIFRACOM, who has a letter of good standing with the Department of Labour, as do all of you in your subcontractor roles. The various clauses that they come through here, like I said, you must have a letter of good standing. You know, those of you that have got this will continue to get the work. If you don't have it, get it. You'll get it as soon as you get the work, as soon as you have all of that in place. We will check non-compliance from time to time, and we'll ask you to sort it out. Safety is not negotiable in terms of what Supersonic and MTN want, as you know. So you need to make sure that you and your team have got all the right PPE, you've got all the right safety gear, and when we have these different rolling pandemics and different variants that come out, you might still need to be wearing your masks Don't take photographs if you don't have your PPE and your safety boots and your mask and all that on. It looks bad and shows up badly for you and for us. Supersonic also will be issuing some branding, some T-shirts and stuff to the guys. We're hoping to get that in the next week so that we can empower you with that, because you are representing Supersonic at that engagement. Risk insurances, this is also in the contract. They want us to have a number of things: public liability insurance, motor vehicle insurance, professional indemnity insurance, contractors liability cover. So these are all things that we have to have and you have to have. So like I said, we've got a method to assist you if you don't have some of these things. What I'm also trying to do is negotiate on behalf of us, if you like, as a federation, with a number of financial service providers to get good quality, low premium risk insurances for what we're trying to do. And as soon as we've got all of that, we'll make it available to you. I have no intention at all of getting any kickbacks or commissions on these kinds of things that are passed through to you. MyTechie makes its money on the 15% of the services, and that's it. We want you to have the best training, the best tools, and the best support for the lowest possible price, so that you feel comfortable working in this environment. Data protection also comes up in the Master Services Agreement. You are dealing with personal information of clients. You will have access to their identity number. You will have access to their personal, their residential address. You'll have access to a lot of personal stuff, which is captured on the app. And we have to protect that data, because we have to host it in a certain way. We have to provide data protection. We have to comply with a lot of data rules from the app point of view, but you guys as subcontractors collecting this information, you do need to know the boundaries in which you are operating around. And so I've highlighted a couple of them there, and why you will be engaging with us back to back with that agreement. All of this indemnity stuff applies to you. What they're basically saying here is that they aren't responsible for anything. None of the losses or anything like that might happen are their responsibility. It's a very one-sided agreement, but that's why we've got these insurance covers. So if something does happen, we've got insurance cover, and that's why I discourage individuals who are not covered by a company to work on their own, because it puts them at enormous risk. Can you imagine if your ladder or your spanner falls onto the guy's Audi A8, R8 or something, or his BMW, and then there's a problem. Or worse, it happens to fall on a child. You want to avoid that sort of thing, and if you do, there's insurance for it. These are the penalties that they've got, the Schedule 1 service level agreement. The installation should normally take 3 days, according to them, from the date the order is accepted. If it takes longer than that, they start deducting 20% of the installation cost. Quality of the installation, if it doesn't conform, they take everything off. There's a whole lot of different things. They haven't started invoking this, but they probably will soon. We will try to assist you to avoid paying any of these penalties. There's maintenance work as well that they do give us, and we'll show you what that's about. Again, health and safety is not negotiable. Please make sure every day that you guys have got the right health and safety certifications and PPE and tools. There is an opportunity to claim some money if there's a failed installation. There's 7 or 8 criteria they give you there, of which only one qualifies to get paid for a truck roll that didn't work. The 550 is paid, and only if you roll to do an installation that's been given to you, and there's you cannot get sufficient signal. Next 75, I think, is the lowest level that you can accept, and you can't get the right bandwidth. Then they might say, okay, you can abort the installation and you'll get a truck roll fee of 550. But if you arrive there and the customer's not there or is not available, they're not going to pay. That's up to you to make sure that the customer is ready for you. The home must be there. It mustn't be a plot of land that's not ready yet. Sometimes the customers cancel the orders between the time that they've ordered and the time that you get the order. We've had 3 or 4 of those. That's why we phone the customer and we find out, oh no, they don't want it anymore. They've now got actual fiber, or they've made another plan. Landlord approval is important. one of the 3 documents that you're required to get a photograph of is the request for occupation. And they've developed a form for that. You get that form, the client fills it in, and you take a photograph of it, of the ID of that, and the address. Power can be an issue. You must understand that we still have load shedding every now and again, and some people also have got prepaid power, and they might not have topped up. So unless you've got cordless drills and things like that, you're not going to be able to finish the job. So you need to make sure that the power is available when you make the schedule booking to do the installation. The infrastructure must be secure. You can't really mount this thing on a wooden shack or a tin shack. It needs to be on something that's fairly stable. Then the last point is the base station node is not live. It's a strange one for them to ask. They shouldn't be giving us work if the base station is not live. But I do have a list of base stations that are live, and it's on the Google Drive, and I do check every order before we send it to you that according to our information that is live. Any questions on that so far?
Any questions, guys? Andre's taken us through a lot of information on the installations here on Supersonic. Any questions, or you want him to continue? I don't see any hands raised. Oh, there we got. Sorry, you come across. LaRoche, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. We spoke about this a couple of months back with Supersonic. I'm with 100+ guys in Kimberley, supposed to be, but like with the sharing the 50% and the 500 rand and then the 100 rand. My question is, if these things are now being deducted from us, in which way would we profitable? Like you guys promised us about, can do about plus minus 20 to 30 installations, but now I'm only getting 1 installation a month, perhaps, because I do a lot of rural area. So how would I do on that front? That I can afford that.
Are you in Kimberley, sorry?
Yes.
Okay, we aren't operating in Kimberley as MyTechie yet with air fiber when they allow us. I don't think they've lit any air fiber in Kimberley yet, but we will definitely get there. Remember, MyTechie is not exclusive and only with Supersonic. We're going to bring you work from a lot of different places. If there's no Supersonic work on your table today, maybe there'll be other work. We are white labeled, so we can take work from a lot of different places. We're starting the rollout now. The 500 rand that you pay is a once-off thing. You don't get paid every time. We'll go through the commercials. You get paid 1,425 rand for every installation that you do. That's where you start to make money. It's about the productivity of doing as many as possible, and it will start slowly, and then we'll get more. You'll get more orders. You ask the guys in Gauteng, they got a trickle of orders last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now they're getting an inbox of 10 or 20. Yes, so
Thank you.
I'll give you more information on the commercials in a moment. I just want to try and get back to my presentation. Okay, so that's the failed installation fee. If you look at the manual, and please read the manual, it does give you a lot of guidance on how to make this easy.
Guys, please can you mute? Please mute yourselves.
Okay, I've muted everyone again, so Sharon will have to unmute. Please read the manual. Don't try and take shortcuts. There is a certain things that you have to do in terms of the feasibility study and pre-installation checks that you have to do. So this is the commercial rates that you get paid. Supersonic pay us, Nifricom, 1,500 rand for an installation, and they pay 800 rand if there's a de-installation or uninstallation that has to happen. A call out are those rates there. Weekdays 550. After 5 p.m. on Saturdays, 690, and Sundays, public holidays are 920. We have done some call-outs as well. That's what gets paid through to Nifricom. What gets paid to you is the arrangement we have with Nifricom for handling all the warehousing and logistics. That was the other reason why we couldn't take it on as MyTechie. We don't have warehouses and logistics capability. So Nifricom takes 5% of that. So that means 75 Rand of the 1,500 Rand that you should have earned is now held by our partner Nifricom. That means you get 1,425 Rand. That's, if you can see my mouse, that's this amount here as a technician team. You get that per installation. We charge you 15%, so 213 Rand and 75 cents as our fee for orchestrating all of this and using the app and all the invoicing and everything that we collect the money, we charge that. And the tax band charges that. So that money there is going to come off. And we're assuming that you're going to need consumables of about 500 Rand. That is 500 Rand to get a bracket and some Cat6 cable and a bit of electrical cable. Give or take, it might be less than that, meaning that your cost of sale is 746 Rand if you add all this up, and that you're left with a contribution towards your future of 679 Rand and 19 cents for the installation. Assuming you have an assistant that you pay 150 Rand per installation, that would be the numbers there. What I've done, if you do 2 a day, if you do work 5 days a week and you do 2 installations a day, then you are going to, after all these costs, you're going to have an earning of 1,000 Rand per day, 5,000 Rand per week, or 21,000 Rand per month. Now, doing 2 installs a day should easily be achievable, but we have got guys doing 3 on 4 a day now that they started doing quite well, and that pushes all of this up quite nicely. But that also depends on how these things are co-located. My dogs are getting fed now. So. And what we try to do as well for you is we cluster the orders around you. So it's proximity related. If you live in Mamelodi, we're not going to give you orders in Springs. And we're not going to give you orders in Soweto. If you live in Soweto, you're going to get the orders in Soweto. You might get orders in Elders or Lens, but we're going to try to cluster the orders around you so you don't have to travel too far. A lot of this cost here is under your control. But this is your revenue per installation. So you could be earning 57,000 Rand revenue per month. And then we'll be earning 8,000 revenue per month as MyTechie, and Taxman will be taking a bit of money. But ultimately, you will have cash left over to pay everything else that you need. And you can improve your earnings. We've got other methods that, you know, if you're a member of a recognized professional association, we'll give you a 1% discount on what we charge. If you use one of the interns that are learning the trade, we can give you a 3% discount. So we can still give you back about 4% of what we take if you follow certain quality rules that we have available, because we want to build capacity in the country. So I'll come back to that. Let me finish this thing and we can take all the questions. So that's what a supersonic installation looks like. I think that was one that we did on Mamelodi. It's very neat, little flat panel, 2 cables, 1 electrical, 1 Cat6, and then into the house. And there's earth as well. You have to take these 3 photographs before you start, and those are available to you. But it all has to be done via the app. If it's not done on the app, if you try to do this offline, we cannot invoice. We've got a problem now with 2 or 3 that were not done on the app. I cannot invoice them. I cannot be paid. You cannot be paid. So please don't avoid using the app. There's a preparation that you have to go through before you install. These are the 11 things. Do not skip any of them out. Make sure you follow them. Like it says here, strategy is important, but execution is everything. A lot of people have tried to bypass some of these things and it's bitten them in the bum. So please make sure that you do this before you mount any antenna on the wall. Do you get a signal that's acceptable? Is Supersonic happy with that signal? Do you get the speed that the client has ordered, or more than that? Otherwise, don't install it. Okay, so just a little bit about MyTechie. Those of you that are new, this is what we do. We map your skill in the proximity that you live to what the market needs. And we've got thousands, almost thousands of technicians around the country, lots and lots of skills. We know what the buyers want. We're very well networked with the telco and ISP industry, and we're offering them technician as a service using your capability for them. and we've got some nice projects coming through across the country. Another way of looking at it is if the job spec looks like this. This is a particular job that has to be done. These technicians, none of them could actually fulfill this requirement. They don't have the same blocks that this job needs. But what we do as MyTechie is we say, look here, technician 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you combine and form a team, I can get this work for you. And we do that. We get technicians who've got certain capabilities to work together, and we divide the task and multiply the success. Another way of looking at it, if this is the work spec, it requires these 2 skills, these 2 certifications, and this bunch of resources. If one technician can fulfill this, great, they can take the work. But in this case, technician 1 and technician 2 can work together to solve this equation for this work. And that's how we look at it from a MyTechie point of view. What I've found is quite often an electrician and a fiber technician, or electrician and a router technician, are a good team, because the one's got a bucky with a ladder and good tool and hand skills, and the other one's got tech skills, and they form a good team, and they work close together, and they start to monetize. We build the smallest possible team on the granularity of demand, and we're managing to pair people up. And reciprocally, we then look at the technician and say, okay, you did this job with your colleague, that's great. But if you, technician 1, had this skill and this certification, you could have got the whole job. Go get this training, go get this course, go do this short course, and you can get more opportunity. So we try to assist the technicians to guide them in terms of what they need to learn, what other courses they need. So we recommend and augment the training based on them. We don't do the training. Again, we find the best quality training providers that are out there, and we ask them to make proposals to the technicians to give them the training. Or it might be at cost, it might be free. We don't take any money from any of that. This is another way of looking at MyTechie. We allow you, with your technical skills, we assume that you are a technical person, that you're doing what you love, that you're doing what pays well, and you're doing what you're good at, you're talented in it. And we allow you to percolate up this refinery as far as or as low as you want to go. We've got interns or apprentices that are a part of the team that can work and assist you and become assistants for you, which we incentivize. If you've got limited or thorough or even extensive or even specialist skills, you can earn different amounts. The idea here is that you get a good work-life balance. If you get a job, that's great. You can get a job. But the difference now, you're getting the job, not just your CV, but a whole bunch of real evidential experience that you can prove to people. These are how many splices I did. This is how many routers I installed. This is how many LANs I configured. This is how many air flowers I did. It's documented. No one can fudge the thing. It's there on the app, and evidence is there, and you get a good quality reference, and you can get a job, or you can become what we call a tech-entrepreneur, stay in the game, build your own business. We help you build a business in your community, in your village, in your township, in your suburb, in your city, where you become the village technician, and you basically dominate your area technically, and we help you do that. And this is where we are a little bit different to other contractors, if you like. If you look at the standard contractor model, for every rand that the customer is paying, the normal contractor is going to take around 50 to 70% of that and leave you with 20 to 30% as the technician. And it's quite a heavy blow to take. So we don't do that. We operate as an agent. We use Section 54 of the VAT Act. For every rand that gets paid to you, you get that rand available to you. We charge a cost of sale to you of 15 cents. You keep 85% of it. That's the MyTechie model. So you're going to get most of the money because you are the guys doing the hard work on the edge. We understand that, and we want to empower you and give you that opportunity to earn that money. So that's the difference between MyTechie and possibly other contracting models. That's the call to action. Those of you that are registered with us, great. I've got your details. You will get a MyTechie identity number, reference number. If you're not registered with us, please make sure you send your documentation to this email address, techie@mytechiesa.co.za, where we onboard you. And there might be certain FICA and KYC information that our admin office might ask you for in time to come. But now I'm ready to take some questions on any of this so far.
Oh, Andre, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, some of you are very well aware with this presentation. But Andre combined the requirements of what Supersonic requires from our techies. He's made it very clear. It's not negotiable. No steps can be omitted. If you do omit steps, there are going to be financial penalties. And he gave you an overview of the MyTechie model. So before we go on to the protocols and conduct of our technicians, we're going to open it up for questions. Then Andre is going to give you an update of the new work that we've got coming in at Limpopo and Mpumalanga and potentially Northern Cape, and how we hope that will roll out. So please, if you raise your hand, I can note you and you can ask a question if you have any on where we are right now in the presentation. Any questions? Any hands raised? Yes, we have yes, France, you want to ask a question? Please go ahead.
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Andre. Hi, guys. I just want to quickly, I recently joined MyTechie. I've got my Techie reference number and so on. In order to get then qualified to do the air fiber installations and so on in my area then, is there some other sessions that I can join to maybe get some sort of a one-to-one introduction on what to do and you know, get that 500 Rand paid and so that I can start seeing the, you know, the jobs on the MyTechie app and so on and so on. Just to, because I've been joining, I'm following, and I understand that there's a lot of work. Andre and your team, I must say thank you. This information that you guys are sharing here is normally the type of information that you get in a very senior position in any corporation out there. So this info is open book. It's great info, and I like to be part of this and get, you know, that more information, how to just get myself kickstarted, make sure that I've got all the tools and the requirements and PPE and all of that. What is the process that I need to follow in order to get all that answers and all those boxes ticked off so that I can get all the things in place to start viewing the app and using the app to start getting the jobs and go out there and do the thing.
Yeah, France, I think you're based in Centurion, if I'm not mistaken.
100%, 100%.
I'm personally onboarding everyone. So I've read CVs from, and sure. So that was the one good thing about lockdown. I could read a lot of CVs. So the process is that you're onboarded, you got your number.
Yeah.
You came through the channel for the other project, I think, for the set-top box project, but that doesn't matter. The process now is that if you want to participate in air fiber, just let me know. I'll add you to a specific WhatsApp group. Now for training, we're doing on over-the-shoulder training. So in the Centurion, Pretoria area, we've got work coming in Mamelodi and in the Pretoria East area. There is a base station lit in Laudium and in somewhere north in Shoshanguve, but there's also some in the Midrand area. So I'm going to put out a communication on that group as to who you can pair up with, who is qualified. So people pair up with qualified guys, girls like Annie, Silas, Chucky, Clements. I've now got alert about whole five or six new guys coming on board this week that you can pair up with. And they'll tell you where they are doing installations, and you make an appointment to join them. If you've got a job and you can only work weekends, then you're going to have to hustle a bit. But
yes,
work is being done. You go and do one or two over the shoulders. Read that instruction manual. We can give you a quick test. Then when you are confident, we can give you one or two bits of equipment. Our warehouse is in Samrand currently, and then you can go and try and install them. And if you need help, there are people lots of very nice, helpful people like Clements and Silas and Annie and Chucky that will guide you. Okay. And sorry. Yeah, you must have the app. You must do it on the app.
I've got the app. I've got everything on my laptop here as well. And I think you did add me to that WhatsApp group as well. I missed this weekend's Mamelodi install because of the other meeting that we had.
Yeah, so all you've got to do is try and get onto one of those to get some over the shoulder training, and then if United Wireless or Supersonic do have it, it'll be a multiple choice online test.
Yeah.
Which comes straight out the manual, like what's the minimum signal strength? What is the
Yeah.
distance from the thing? What is the height above the roof? Things like that you've got to be able to know. But there's no better way to learn something than to actually do it.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
get involved and do some of that. And then I'm not going to overcrowd people. So if you live in Centurion, we're going to have to, you're not going to get orders in Springs or in Mamelodi. You're going to have to motivate your crew around you to take it. And then around you, you'll start getting those orders and form a team around you there. You might have, as an individual, a team member that lives in, say, Ettrichville. There's no reason why that they couldn't pick up orders as long as they've got the app. It's proximity related, works like Uber. So we've got a whole pile of orders coming in now. Seems to be Soweto, Lens, Elders, even Kempton Park. That's going to the techies around there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Andre.
Thanks, Andre. Swazi, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Madam. Actually, me, I wanted to know about the training. I read that is covered, and I also wanted to know for those of us who don't have tools and patches, so what is the way forward for us? How will you dispatch us to opportunities? Thanks.
Andre, did you hear that?
Yeah, okay. So we're experimenting with something. Let me open a spreadsheet here and show you guys something. I would like to know what you think about this. I know there are a lot of people out there, like the gentleman has just said, that don't have everything. So let me share a spreadsheet for you. This is a model that we're, no, not this one. Must be careful here. I don't want to show you the wrong thing. Where's my spreadsheet? Here. So there's 1,500 Rand on the table. You all saw that. 75 Rand is taken by Nifricom. That means there's 1,425 Rand left to give to you guys. So depending on what boxes you tick here, out of the 10 boxes or 11 boxes that are here, we can pay you per installation. This is a discussion I'm having with Nifricom. And we've got one technician, for example, that he can do all of this, except he has not got a line number 10 here, the risk insurances. He has not got that. So what we do there is he does the work under the Nifricom banner as a Nifricom technician, and Nifricom will take 42 Rand and 75 in addition out of his money, and he keeps the rest. So you then have 1,168 Rand and 50 cents. But if you don't have a vehicle, and you don't have tools, and you don't have a smartphone, and you don't have a laptop, this is the money you're going to lose. What's left is what you're going to earn. So you can, you might only be able to bring that, in which case you're going to earn 384 Rand. But at least you're earning something, and other stuff is being provided. You're getting skills. You can, save money. This is the way we're trying to do it a little differently to give everyone an opportunity. It's about teaming up. The other way you can do this, if you don't have a vehicle and stuff, find an electrician who's already got all of that, and you might have fiber skills or whatever it is that you bring into the party. Then you get your piece and you share make a little business as a team in your community. What do you think of that, guys?
Thanks, Andre. That answers that. Inshlakanepo, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Your hand's up.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I've actually been new to us. I mean, ladies left in KZN, so we really work coming through this side. So I'm hearing that most places is getting work is in uptown and Gauteng.
Sorry, actually you came across a little bit mumbled and faint. Can you try get closer to the microphone and try and speak a bit louder?
Okay, can you hear me now?
It sounds like you're underwater, but try the question again slowly.
Smith in KZN. I've been wanting to know if there'll be any jobs coming in KZN, because most of the jobs I've been hearing is mostly around Gauteng.
Yeah, good question. Yes, it's a national rollout. KZN is definitely on the cards, but due to the semiconductor shortage, they they couldn't get as quickly as possible. But KZN is my home province. I'm from eThekwini, so we're definitely going to be bringing it there. The only area we're not going to cover is Umtulumi, because we don't need to go there. But definitely we are coming there. We've got work in potentially in KZN for Vodacom, for recovering microwaves. As this business grows, more and more work will come, but it's on its way. We'll light the KZN fire as soon as we can.
Just to keep you updated, the reason Andre makes a comment about Umtulumi is I'm living here. So for me, it's very important that KZN gets air fiber. Guys, I think if you want to turn off your cameras, please do so. You'll probably save a lot of data. Hendrika, you've got a question. Would you like to go ahead?
Thank you for this opportunity and greetings. Well, I'm currently in Limpopo province, and I would like to ask, who am I going to pair with, and what is going to be needed in order for me to do the work?
I'm not sure I heard the question correctly. Who's going to pay you?
No, who does the pairing up?
That's up to you, Hendrika. We're not going to pair you up, but if you don't have someone to pair up with, we'll try and find someone for you. Well, we need to know, first of all, what skills and resources you have available. Then if there are gaps, then we'll try to find somebody close to you that can pair up with you. We'll help with that. But that also, it's probably easier for you to find somebody than it is for us, but we'll try and help you. I think you might be talking about the next big project which we got, which is the Centec set-top box project. As you know, the digital terrestrial television is taking over from the old analog television. The analog signals being switched off, and this has been going for some years now. And what the project is about is the company that has won the bid from Centec to do this has asked MyTechie to join the fray because they don't have enough technicians. We've got plenty of technicians, and we're assisting them with this rollout. And we need technical people in Limpopo and in Mpumalanga and Northern Cape. Obviously, it's national, but the award has gone only to this company in those areas for now. It's a very similar installation to a DSTV installation. There is training provided free for that. You just have to liaise with Sharon because there's another training provider session on Friday. She'll tell you about it. You register with MyTechie. There's no upfront costs to pay right now. Like I said, that all happens later on when the money is flowing. You do have to have certain things. You need to have technical skills, basic technical skills. You need to have access to a suitable vehicle. You need to have a smartphone. You need to 5 or 6 different things. You obviously need to have the app, and you need to pair up. So try to find somebody around you in your community that can work with you, and then we can also develop your technical skills once you get the start. The idea is that we take you and develop you further so that you can, because with the internet and the Internet of Things and smart energy, there's a huge amount of technology coming into to where communities live. We're involved in another big project this year for smart energy, which is going to be massive. IoT devices that have to be installed in campuses, in the states, in factories. So all of MyTechies will get this opportunity, not just the telecom stuff. Then there's the real fiber as well, optical fiber, microwave. So if you're technical, this is the place to be to get your hands dirty and to learn, and hopefully either get a decent job or create a job for yourself. So to help Hendrika, I just need to know where she is, what she can do, and we'll look for people around her to assist her.
Thanks, Andre. We'll take that offline because we've got 5 people waiting to ask questions. Capano, you next. What would you like to ask?
Hi guys, thanks for the opportunity. I just wanted to know, in terms of the air fiber, what qualifications are you guys looking at? Where can one actually register to get the short course quickly?
Are you talking about registering to get air fiber as a service?
No. As an installer, what are the requirements in terms of like education or training?
Yeah, you have to be able to rewire the space shuttle. If you can't do that, you can't work for us. No. Basic qualifications. This is the same more or less as a DSTV installation. So if you've got any technical ability, you'll be able to do air fiber installations. We will give you free training and guidance. So you need, let's say, you know, we look at your work experience that you have got. If you've got a matric, that's fine. If you don't, the matric I'm not too worried about because it's a bit diluted at the moment. But you have to demonstrate that you've got some technical skills. So if you're an electrician or a plumber or a welder, then you've got what it takes to do an air fiber installation. We'll give you the other little bits and pieces to understand the basics of signaling, the basics of line of sight, and we'll help you with that. You need to register with MyTechie. Okay, so you need to make sure we've got your CV and whatever certifications you've got, then your FICA documentation, whichever area you're in. We will let you know what's happening air fiber wise in your area. You will go on the job training with technicians around you to learn. When you are confident that you can do it on your own, and the technician that has been guiding you says to me, Andre Capano is now ready to do it on his own, then we'll test you and let you have a go at it on your own. And you can start earning the money, but you need to work in a team of at least 2 people because you know, someone has to hold the ladder. And it's a meritocracy, so you know we'll give you a chance, but and each installation you're scored out of 5. 5 is excellent, 1 is not good at all, 3 is a satisfactory. So if you're not getting 3s, 4s, and 5s, you're going to drop off, and the more that you do correctly, the more work you're going to get.
Thank you, Andre.
Okay.
Is that your question answered?
Yeah, it's perfect. I'll just have to register. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Chikata, you had your hand up, but you took your hand down. Has your question been answered?
No, it's not yet answered. Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to ask, we recently got onboarded just last week, but we promised that we were going to get a training as soon as something comes up. So I just wanted to ask, when can the training be done, and what's the next procedure from now? Thank you so much.
Chikota, were you onboarded for the installations of the in Limpopo and Mpumalanga?
No, I'm based in Kempton, around Kempton Park.
Oh, okay. So Andre's just explained how the training takes place. Andre, I'll pass over to you to just give a quick recap on the training processes for that, because you have explained it.
It's gift, gift.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. The problem,
yes,
gift,
it's
is
gift.
you have not given me the gift that you were going to give me to get you on the No, okay. So we're working through that. There was 200 people there. Gift, I need to just add you to a group of installers that you can network with them in the Kempton Park area. So there's a new guy that's doing work there now called Alert. He's just recently qualified. You're going to work days with him, and you're going to get the opportunity to go and learn from him on the job. And then when you've qualified by him saying to me that you can do it on your own, we'll do a little test, and then we can start adding you to the so I'm going to add you to the training group. There isn't a specific training course that you're going to go on at 8 o'clock in the morning and write a test at the end. We're doing on-the-job training now.
Okay.
Thank you. Asanda, over to you for your question. Asanda, are you muted?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. No, so far I think everything is very clear from Andre. I understand everything. I'm also new, and I'm based in the East Rand area. So what I wanted to find out is with this air fiber contract that you are talking about, like how often would, let's say, I do all of that training and we start getting jobs now. How often are the jobs gonna come up, like daily? Can you say maybe per per team maybe you'd be given, or does it depend on maybe the area that we are situated in?
It depends on who orders air fiber in the consumer space with Supersonic and where they order it. They're getting orders. They haven't really done a lot of marketing. They're starting now. There's TV adverts, I believe, and radio adverts starting to come, and people are talking about it. It's competing against LTE and Rain and these other products. So it's going to get more popular. So it's about motivating your community. If you're on board with us, we give you you can get a link and you go to the Supersonic website and you get your community forums and your neighbors to if they want this service. Obviously, if they've got real fiber, they don't need it. But if they want broadband and they don't have fiber, this is a good way to get it. So the amount of orders you get depends on how many people order it in your vicinity. Now, we're getting mostly orders in the south of Joburg, Soweto, Lenasia, El Dorado, but we are getting in Kempton Park a few. I think Janine can confirm. We're starting to get about 5 to 10 orders a day, okay, in Gauteng, but I expect that to ramp up. We have to, for my business to break even, we have to do 250 a month. That's just to cover my very basic costs of my 15%. But you will get, you can see this thing. If you look at Google Maps around you, there are thousands of people in that area, and many of them do not have fiber broadband. They're relying on mobile data. It's very expensive. The packages for air fiber are reasonable. They start at $3.99 for a 5 meg service, and they go up to $9.99 for a 100 meg service. And I think for a 20 meg service, it's about $5.99. And it's uncapped. It's always on. It's not symmetrical. It's asymmetrical, but it's a great little product. Look at the technology. There might be some people on here that have got air fiber. Some of our technicians have got it. Chucky's got it at home. He's very happy with it. Much better than Rain. So what you get depends on what you can people order around you.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Louis Paul, would you like to ask your question?
Hi there. Yes, yeah, thanks, Shazza. Andre, sorry, a quick question. Look, I've been in the telecommunication industry for 30 plus years. What I'd like to know is, would I still have to be tested? Which I've got no objection in writing it, or doing a test, a practical, theoretical test. But I still have to be tested, and then also, how do I get the ball going? Because I want to climb on board. I've been onboarded through the app and all, but I haven't received the app. I've just received the WhatsApp group, and then also, although I stay in the western part of Johannesburg, Constantia Kloof to be direct, I don't mind traveling. You know, I don't mind going up to Sandton. I don't mind going down to Lenasia, Kenavi, Western area. How will that app affect me?
Okay, good question. So to start with, to get started, you are started. I just need to give you a link to register on the app. Training and testing. It's not that we are testing your technical ability, although for some people it is the case. It's the specific Supersonic rules and process that have to be followed. And there's a few peculiarities with respect to the technology which you need to be aware of. It's not difficult. It's very easy. You shouldn't stress about it. They just want to make sure that you have basically read the installation manual. That's all it is.
Well, I'm not too worried about that because I used to work for Calvin at iConnect.
Yeah. You know, Calvin has left Supersonic now.
Oh, so he left it? Good God.
Yeah, he left it in December and Megan has taken over.
Okay, all right, okay.
I don't know what Calvin's doing. He said he would let me know. But don't stress about that. Everyone's going to go through a little basic test, like what's the minimum signal strength, what's the height above, what's the earthing, little things like that have been dictated by Supersonic. Not difficult.
So that's basic technical instructions, right?
Very basic, and you must get access to the Google Drive. If you don't have it, please ask me. I'll give it to you. The manual is there. Then training for it. go and attend 1 or 2 installations. I'll put you in a training group. You might be on the West Rand. There are some installations around there. Otherwise, you can go and give oversight in the Midrand or Soweto or wherever you want to. Wherever. It won't take you long. Then you get signed off that you are ready to go, and then you market the product around you. Orders come. I know that you can probably work all the way to Springs, but the problem is that there's only 1,500 Rand on the table. Your travel costs are going to hurt you, and we've got technicians in those areas. We're not going to send people from Constantia Kloof to Mamelodi to do the installations when we've got technicians in Mamelodi to do it. It's proximity related. So we're also not going to send technicians from Mamelodi to do Constantia Kloof if I've got Louis Paul Montili there to do it.
Sure.
And reciprocally, we're going to try and find other work in your area from other service providers to keep you busy within a radius of 10 to 20 kilometers. Obviously, you get a project in Limpopo, a big one, you go do it, no problem. And if you need technicians, I can help you.
Well, look, to be honest, right at the moment, I'm doing a 350-point data network in Braamfontein. But, you know, within 2 weeks, I'm finished with it.
Yeah, that's how it goes in our realm. We're doing a similar network in Cape Town right now with a team, building a massive land network with 101 cameras and access points. We do that. We've got projects coming of various sizes. It comes down to matching what you can do and where people are available to do it and building capacity around that area. I'm just talking about air fiber now in this specific case, but the air fiber might only take up 20% of your day or time or month. You might get other work. This is just a channel for you to get some income from. It's not exclusive. When you work with MyTechie, it's not exclusive. You can take your own work. We're just one of the channels to help you, put food on your table.
I understand that, yeah, and I'm trying to grow my business. So this is the a perfect platform for me to do that. I try to do it with MoreClick, and yeah, that just didn't come to the party as far as I was concerned. But yeah, but look, okay.
Louis Paul, I think if you want to discuss this more one-on-one with Andre, but I think we're always cognizant of time. We've been on for an hour and 10 minutes, and we're always worried about people that have got data issues. So thanks for your question and your feedback. And I think if you want more detailed info, we can take it offline. Thanks for that, Andre. Kerry, your question, please.
Yeah, hello. Thanks, Sharon. Hello, Andre. Hello, Monty. Andre, just run the failed installation through for me quickly, please. I understand point 1, that they say it's going to be live and then it's not. All the other things we need to make sure it's in place before we go out there. Let's assume point number 6, I'm 90% through and I'm about to switch on and there's load shedding. I assume it's going to be classed as a failed installation. Will I get paid for it? That was the first one. And then the second one, building infrastructure. Sometimes the customer doesn't know whether this thing is going to be suitable to be fitted or not. You can ask him 100 questions and they still dummies. Until you get there, you're not going to know. Can you just run through that failed installation, those 7 points or 8 points again, please?
Sorry, I'm on unmute now. Can you see my screen? Right. This
yes, I can see a screen.
This is the installation manual. So you have to use a bit of common sense here. When you get the order and you read the history and you can see the address and you can see the name of the person, what I do, or what I suggest you do, is you use Google Earth and you take a look at what you're dealing with. You see a solid structure, or you see a shack, or what do you see, or nothing at all. Try to knock off the this points 2 to 8 yourself by asking questions and finding out. If you get to a site and you're doing the work and you're 90% through and the power goes, you are not going to get paid until it finishes. So what happened to one of our techies this week is they did exactly that. They got halfway through the installation and the power went off because the client was on prepaid and they ran out of units. So what does he do? He just has to say, look, you know, I've got to stop this. I'm going to my next installation. When you get power back, I'll come back and finish. He goes, the other installation was up the road. But between this point and the next point, the guy topped up his units and he got power back. You're going to have that situation. It's not Supersonic's fault. It's not your fault, but it's just one of those things you have to manage. Obviously, cordless drills and that sort of thing helps. And the ability to, but you aren't going to be able to prove that the thing works unless you've got power over the PoE and on the router. So this is this Supersonic rule. So you could abort the installation and go back later on and finish it when the power is available. But also look at Google Earth, do a deep dive and see what you're dealing with there. Or else when you get to site, the first thing you do is you unbox the equipment, you try to get your signal strength, and if you don't, that's the only time that you can get the 550. And remember, these things should not be far away. I should not be sending you from Rand Park Ridge to Heidelberg to do this. You're going to be close.
Okay, Andrea, I got that. I think there may be an instance or two where we're probably going to have to convince Supersonic that it wasn't our mistake or our fault. I'm using a stupid example now. The power supply goes because the guy doesn't have money to pay his electricity, and a week later only gets electricity. I'm over my 3 days for the installation. So I think horses for courses, and
yeah, we'll fight that for you. We'll fight that for you.
Well, yeah, I think that's what I was alluding to.
Yeah, we have that situation now where we were given about 7 orders early on, and I didn't take them because I could not find a base station within 8 kilometers of those sites. Why? Because they had not given me the new base station list. And what has resulted is those ones have now gone into the workflow and are overdue. And I said the reason we delayed them is because we did not know where the base stations were. Can't hold us responsible for that. You only gave us the base stations yesterday. And then we accepted them, and now we're doing them. So don't worry, we'll fight those fights for you.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. And then I read somewhere, I'm not quite sure on which document, the earthing cable is a 10 millimeter cable. That's an awfully thick cable. Is that correct?
There's also a 16 millimeter cable, depending on the height above the roof.
Sure.
So
okay.
Yes, it's quite
I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't a typo or something.
Well, that's what they said. And there was a challenge to that by one of the meetings. The guy said that's ridiculous. Look, it is a client spec. We can push back on it. We can advise them. We can guide them. But this is what we're told we have to do. And there's a cost to that. So we're going to try and get those costs down. We're going to look at suppliers of 10 mil and 16 mil cable so that you can purchase from our stock at the lowest possible price. If we can get it for you. If you get it cheaper, obviously we'll come buy from you.
All right. Okay. All right, Andre, that's it. I don't want to hold it up any further. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks for your question. Right, Mr. Matabata, am I saying your name correctly? Or is it Mrs.? Hi, you want to raise your question?
Hello, how are you, ma'am?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing so well. I think the question was answered through the message. I wanted to know if I can get technicians around Pretoria to work with them as an assistant during weekends so that I can learn some few things.
Andre, did you hear that?
Yes, he wants to learn from technicians in Pretoria. So I just need to know who he is. I need to get a message so I can pin him into the group of learners that are available for technical training in that area. So if you register with MyTechie, register as an assistant, and we can try and pay you up. I need to know who you are.
Okay, I'm Ryan Matabata Andre. I'm Ryan. I usually chat with you.
Okay, right. Just to remind me, please just drop me a WhatsApp. Say, as discussed on the group, that's what I'm looking for, because I'm dealing with quite a few different things. But I will take it from there and add you to the group, right?
Okay, I will send you a text.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you. You could mute yourself. Okay, now I'm going to try and get Mr. Movazelo, if I'm saying your surname correctly. Movazelo. Help me here. Help me with my pronunciation. Have I got it right? Would you like to ask your question? Hello? Would you like to ask your question? Okay, Andre, we'll come back to that. Louis Paul, you've got a second question you want to ask?
Sorry, Andre, sorry for being a pest. Just a quick question, a technical question. With the earthing system, okay, you say 10 to 50 or 16 millimeter cable, which is cool. Do we have to supply our own earth rod, or do we tap in?
It tells you what to do there. You have to provide an earth pin. So I believe you can use the Giza earth as well. I stand under correction there. I'm trying to find the manual in front of me. It's all in the instruction manual in detail.
Okay.
You have to buy a pin, earth pin, and you have to put it in the ground. It's in the earth instruction manual.
Urbik, Andre, you're getting a bit faint. Urbik, can you remember offhand?
You're allowed to use the geyser as an earthing point. If the geyser has an earthing point, which normally they do, you're allowed to use the geyser if that is near to where your air fiber is being installed.
What are you doing at? Let me see.
Okay.
Terry, you need to mute yourself, please. Terry, please mute yourself.
When get erase on the bed.
Okay, Louis, Paul, has that answered your question?
Yeah, it has. Okay. Indirectly it has, yeah, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. I see we've got, Movazelo, your hand is back up. Unmute yourself and ask your question, please. We can't hear you. Can you type? I'm sure you're talking, but we can't hear you. So if you could type your question in the chat box, and we'll answer you in the chat box. Okay, Andre, we've taken a load of questions, and we will take the time to answer everybody who's written in the chat box. Before I hand over to you for concluding remarks, I just need to make a very special plea to all of the technicians that are listening, all 83 of you who are listening to this meeting today. You have to please read the messages. We communicate to you via WhatsApp. And you please, please, please have to read the message in its entirety. We are dealing with over 800, close to 900 technicians across South Africa. When we say, please, can you provide us the following information? Please don't give us half the information, because the time it takes for one of us to spend half an hour going backwards and forwards on one particular person is hugely time consuming. So we ask, read the message, take note of the message. When we give you the training opportunity, please take note of it. Don't email or message when we are 1 hour into the training to say, when is it and what's happening? We really need to show the utmost professionalism. And I'm going to pass over to Janine as well, because this continues whilst you're doing the job. Everything of this job is evidence-based. This is not a company where you have a supervisor or a manager leaning over your shoulder, making sure you do the correct job. Everything relies on you capturing the evidence from the time you arrive on site. In fact, you have to be a marketing person. You have to phone the client. You have to confirm that they are available. What time? What's their address? You have to ask people personal details, like getting a copy of their ID and proof of residence. And every step of this, every step has to be captured on the app as photographic evidence. If you do not get paid. You heard in the very beginning, Andre, who funds this entire operation, who funds the website, the app, the training, the negotiations with corporate clients, has not generated an income for himself personally in 2 years. So your success is the company's success. MyTechie can only live and breathe and succeed on the professionalism and good faith that we put in you to the techies. So it starts by how we engage over WhatsApp when we ask you for information, that you give us the full information. When Janine will talk you through about when you accept a job on the app, what that entails. But the clients are incredibly strict. If you do not show photographic evidence and you do not perform, or you go AWOL, you do not get paid, we do not get paid. And I can assure you, Andre is a very, very nice company director, and he very seldom chastises people. But it is going to change this year, and there will be yellow and red cards issued. But Janine, I would really like to pass over to you to just maybe talk people through just 2 minutes. We've gone an hour and a half, just the importance of capturing the evidence on the app.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Janine and I do the scheduling. So I wait to get told who to schedule the work to, and I send out the work on the app. The app, essentially, you need to, when you accept the job, you need to first look at the history to see if that is the job you actually want to do. Whether it gives you the client's information as well as phone numbers, etc. And it also tells you what is needed for the job. If you cannot do the job, please don't accept it, decline it, and it will send it back to me. If you accept the job, you need to then call the client and schedule the job accordingly on the app, so that when we look at the history on the network, we can see where you're at in terms of the job. On the app, the Supersonic flows are very specific, so please read exactly what they ask for. The first 3 questions is ID, the proof of residence, and the consent letter. Then it's to speed test before you do any installation. You've got to do a speed test on the ground. Only once you've managed to achieve the speed that the client has signed up for, and you've documented all of this, not only on the app, but on the Tirana WhatsApp group as well, you'll be able to move to the next steps. I can't enforce it more than just say, please read before you react. Read and understand the question and then do what's requested. If you're struggling and you need any information or assistance, Burbick, who is our project manager, is always available. And if he's not available, contact me so that we can help you through the process. It's very important to capture exactly what Supersonic or what the clients are requiring to have captured. So read the instructions carefully.
Janine, thank you very much. Andre, I know we're running out of time, but it is vital that you just give a 2 to 3 minute overview for our new techies who are on board, that are specifically on board for the top set. I don't think anybody's got a clue what the starting point is. So maybe if you could just very quickly explain about getting the order via South African Post Office and what the client is saying, how many we can install per day, that the amount of money per installation is not necessarily great. It's a fixed figure, but we're fairly confident that you can do several installations per day due to them being clustered. So Andre, maybe you just want to talk our new team through the level of expectation.
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier. Thanks, Sharon. is that we've been asked to assist with the digital terrestrial set-top box migration. That means that thousands towards millions of people are going to have their analog TVs switched off, and it's not going to work unless they've got a digital set-top box. And so we will be assisting a company to do that in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, and possibly also Northern Cape, and maybe other areas later on. So Centec have issued this to various companies. It's a very similar installation to a DSTV installation. They've got digital DTT, digital terrestrial television, or and then there's DTH. The difference between the two is one is a satellite dish and the other one is an antenna facing a Centec mast. The installation requires you to install the antenna onto a bracket on the house, run a coaxial cable to a set-top box, plug the set-top box into your television, and get the frequency aligned, tuned in, and then the individual will get SABC1, SABC2, ETV, all the TV channels that they normally would get. And their equipment is delivered to the local post office. You get a list of addresses, and you get paid. We get paid 220 Rand from this per installation, and you'll get 169 Rand, 179 Rand per installation. If you can do 4 per day, you will earn 678 Rand per day, or 3,338 Rand per week, or 13,500 Rand per month. I'm told that you can do 8 to 10 of these a day. I don't know if that's possible. If you can do 8 a day, you would be earning 27,000 Rand per month based on that. All the material is provided to you, the cables, bits and pieces. You might need to provide some wall bolts or some wall plugs, and that's about it. Maybe some cable ties. There's thousands of them to do, clustered around wherever it is that you live. You get a little team going, and you can knock these things off quite quickly. They'll be across the urban and rural areas and townships wherever people have got using TV. So that's what's on the table. There is training, free training provided. Some training has been already provided. There's more on Friday. You just need to onboard onto the training session with Sharon. And then you can, again, it's via the app. So you get the app, you download it. There's 6 or 7 pictures that they want to taken. That then gets uploaded onto the cloud and given as a report to Centec, and they pay the money through. And they say they can pay within 7 days, but let's just say within the month you will get paid.
Thanks very much, Andre. Ladies and gentlemen, we try and keep it to an hour, but we had a record attendance today of over 92 people. I just want to, on a very personal note, thank everybody for your patience over last year. We were promised many things, but we all know the challenges that were forthcoming with the global shortage of silicone chips and Supersonic not rolling out. I really want to give an enormous thank you to Janine, who does all of our scheduling. Obviously to Burbeck, our project manager, who is on site and assisting the technicians on a one-on-one basis. We don't have Riot on board, but Riot is with our admin and finance. And of course, to Andre, we're a small team, but we're a dynamic team, and we truly have your interests at heart. I know we all get numerous individual messages a day saying, when will the work come? When will the work come? Believe me, guys, we are just as eager to get the work in as you are. Janine, I see your hand is up.
Don't forget to give yourself a shout out, Sharon. Without you in the communications, none of this would be happening.
Oh, thank you very much. Andre, we are exactly 33 minutes over the 90-minute mark. Would you like to wrap up for us this evening?
Thank you, Sharon and team and techies. Guys and girls, this is a journey. It's not a rush. We're not going to get rich overnight. It's a journey. We're building a platform. We're making a difference. Our hashtag is MAD. Thank you for your contributions. One step at a time, we're going to make a difference in our country, in our lives, and in your families. That's what this is about. So thank you very much for your time this evening. We will put this recording up on our YouTube channel, and we've got plenty of WhatsApp groups that you can chat to us on. You've got my personal number. You can contact me anytime. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
night. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.